Hi, I'm Doug Burt from Doug Burt's Tackle World, and today we're going to be talking about catching mangrove jacks, another one of my favourite species. And this year I've been chasing a few jacks. The biggest I got is only 54, but I think I've lost a few a bit bigger than that, like we all have. But getting a few, yeah, so not too bad. At the moment, the jacks are really on. They're like this is the prime time. The last actually few weeks, and at the moment they're everywhere. They're in the canals, they're in the rivers, and they're in the seaway. The ones in the seaway are huge at the moment. They tend to be more taken on baits in the seaway though, so one of my favourite baits for catching mangrove jacks is either live bait, strip bait, so live little mullet, whiting, diver whiting that is. Herring even aren't too bad, but strip baits like whiting fillets or mullet fillets, pike fillets, all work extremely well as well. But one of the good standby baits is squid, so just a good sized squid, like so. Just hold this up for you, like that sort of size, whole, and running a couple of 6/0 octopus hooks in this sort of style here, snelled together like you would for snapper, so running them about 4 inches apart or 10 centimetres apart, and they're 6/0s, and we're running 2 hooks, and then we're running the first hook at the top of the helmet of the squid, and the bottom hook runs through the head of the squid. You just go through the bottom part of the squid, pull the hook out, and dig it through the head. And we're running about a 60 centimetre leader of about 40 to 60 pounds, and then running your ball sinker or whatever sinker that's appropriate above that, so like a running sinker rig. And we're fishing in the seaway pretty well vertical straight down, so we don't get snagged up too much, because as you know there's a lot of timber and rocks throughout the seaway, so just dropping it straight down and not just drifting on the edge of the wall. You get a few off the pipe, but north wall seems to be the pick of the bunch, anywhere from the pipe all the way out to the end and around the corner. You will get on the south wall too, but the north wall is my pick of the bunch. Same fishing, same style rig. Up the Mangrove River, you go up around sort of Bundle to Carrara, and those rock bars in the middle of the river there, or the bridges, and just doing the same method. We'll capture your jacks as well. At anchor though, probably more at the river at anchor, and moving around a little bit in between bite periods. Needs to be a little bit of run the water as well. Run means fun, so that's what we do. And the rig we're using is something like this, so like a 4000 Stratic 30-pound braid, if not even heavier, or mono around 20 pounds, and a rod that's capable of handling that sort of 20-30 pound line. And fishing a fairly tight drag. The jacks will run hard at the start, and I'll try and get you into some cover, because they know their water area backwards. Every rock, every nook and cranny they can get you off on, they will. So you need to try and pull them out of that cover and then fight them back to the boat. When you get them in the boat, make sure you've got a pair of lip grips. They've got savage teeth on them, and you need to put that into their mouth and then hold them in that position. And to get the hooks out, whether it be a treble or a hook, use a little hook out gun, because those teeth are pretty savage. And then with the bait fishing too, you can get them on other baits as well. Sorry, Gary. You get them on also on things like using unusual baits, like some people catch on chicken in the canal system off their jetties. So included myself actually. So last year the biggest one I got was a 60 off my jetty on a bit of barbecued chicken. So not that we sell barbecued chickens, but that is a good bait, just along the side there. I didn't tell you that though, but it is good if you live on the canal. So we'll put the bait away. Then we're going to move to lures. Lures, one of my favourite ways to catch jacks. It doesn't matter whether you're trolling, casting, surface, suspending, or whichever it may be. But hard bodies seem to be the pick of the bunch. Soft plastics are good too. If you get any soft plastics, use like Z-Man swimmers or anything with a paddle tail, 100 mil or 75 to 110 mils actually, sorry. So 3 to 4.5 inch. Preferably white or natural colours like mullet colours or olive and white. And you want to use around about a 3/0 or 4/0 size jig hook with a 3/8 to a ½ ounce jig head. And what we're doing is we're casting down along the edge of pontoon. So don't actually cast at the pontoon from out there, you actually cast down along it, and cast your lure out, you let it sink to the bottom, not to the bottom, sorry, halfway down, and then just steadily wind it. Remember that pontoon's about probably 1 metre deep, and you need to keep that lure just below the edge of the pontoon, so they can actually, they'll sit under the pontoon and they'll see it swim past and they'll follow it, and they'll generally nail it about probably 15% of the distance you cast from your boat. seems to be that last sort of quarter of the area back to your boat is where they're going to nail you, and you need to pull them out as quick as you can. So they're going to go straight for that pontoon pole or whatever might be in that area. So cast along there, let it sink down, and the wind's just a steady wind. You can pause for a sec and stop and wind, but just a steady wind. It's quite a fast wind actually, not too slow, not real fast, but just a steady wind. And be prepared to hang on tight here, ready to roll as soon as they hook up. Make sure your drag's set right as well, it's really important. The hard bodies, same deal. You get a lot of different hard bodies. You get ones that'll dive down, that have a bib on the front, like this little fella here. It's got a bib on the front there. They'll dive down around about 3 to 4 metres. That's a Rapala X-Rap. Really good little lure. In that range, other divers, we sell lots of Lucky Craft pointers are really popular. And Bass Day, sugar pens and other lures like that. They seem to like golds, reds and natural colours seem to be the best sort of colours. Again, there's a couple of new ones out from Rapala. This fella here, Jerkbait, is a diver with a very thin profile, so a lot of shimmy, like a herring. And you get really deep divers like this sort of fella here, which will get down around about 4 metres. More for trolling though, so if you're going to troll lures, make sure they're around about 3 metres minimum diving, and they're actually getting down the holes and hitting that rock bar as you're going along. And then you've got a range of surface lures like stick baits and poppers and fizz baits. So in fizz baits, we're talking like propeller style. Like this fella here, this is another Rapala, and good colour for jacks too, it's a red colour. And the props on the front, so that one you just early morning, late afternoon on the surface, and just fizz it across the top, pausing if you want to, but it's a steady wind, and they'll nail that. Stick baits, like the gunfish type in the Lucky Craft, they're really popular for jacks, and the gunfish is working like a walk the dog style. Just twitch, 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 and just keep working and back towards you. Very, very good. In poppers like G splashes, or anything in that sort of little size like so, around that 80 mil or 75 mil, really good size for jacks as well. You want something that puts a little bit of a bloop out, which these sort of poppers do, and just twitch it, twitch it, twitch it, just pop, 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 pop it along the surface. There's also another type of stick bait, which is like a slow sinking stick bait, which will work like a herring. So this type of fella here, you cast it out, you let it just go down to the depth you desire, which could be that just below the pontoon edge, and then just twitch it and stop, and it'll shimmy as it slowly sinks, and just twitch it again and wind it. It'll just work really well, and they're quite a new style out, which is really, really good. Areas to fish for the jacks, that's a big question actually, but because they're everywhere. But if you're land-based, I'd be trying around anywhere there's rock walls or bridges, anywhere from Bayview Harbour up to Coomera rivers, up around Ross Street Bridge, Bundle Bridge, any of those sort of Isle Capri, Monaco Street bridges, that sort of area that is going to hold bait and hold jacks and hold cod and that sort of stuff. If you are in a boat, I would be fishing definitely, if you get in there, Century Cove area. That's a really good area. Good luck on that one. Hope Harbour's a really good area, that sort of area around there too, and all about Hope Island there, and then Paradise Point, all the way from Jabiru down around to Paradise Point, Boat Harbour, and the wall is past there. Great area to troll as well, and definitely up the Nerang River. Yeah, as I said, around Monaco Street, all the way back to the boys' school at TSS, there's jacks in that area as well. Paradise Waters, and also the Seaway, great spot as we said earlier. You can use the lures in the Seaway too, but just get a lot of snags. It's a bit of a pain, so I'd stick probably with the light baiting in the Seaway area. So yeah, with the jacks, get out there, have a go. One thing with the light baits, the jacks I mentioned, they're not shy of sinker size, so don't be scared to put a big sinker on with your live eel or whatever, and hold it in the area rather than sort of floating down slowly, because you'll just get tangled up on the bottom, and the fish will get tangled up as well. So keep it fairly tight and clean. Good luck. All the lures, by the way, sorry, 30% off again, same deal as we always do with all the gear for jacks, rods, line, braid, reels, best price online. And if you need anything, give us a yell. Thank you. Cheers.